From Bears Last Stand to Saban's empire, we built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Deep steep crown, Crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 9-2 reign. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker, Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. We're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one can outdo it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right. Saban touchdown, turned fire to flame. 6 rings later, they chant his name. And Graham ran wild, first Heisman won. 2009, Texas came on.
Roll Tide, everybody, roll Tide to you. Welcome to TightSports as we get into another segment of Across the Tundra. Of course, you know, Around the Herd is my show that I do live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. This is Across the Tundra. You know, just in case for y'all, I do a little education. Elephants live on tundras in certain areas that are not jungle-like, but, you know, some do, you know, there's tundras, get across the tundra. Well, we talk about things that are not exactly about the University of Alabama always, but they have impacted or will impact or may impact the University of Alabama athletics process at some point in time. Now, I want to talk about 30 times that the NCAA was super duper petty. Yeah. I mean, super duper petty. I mean, like, was so ridiculous with their overreach that it makes you scratch your head. It's like, man, what? I'm gonna break this down into 2 segments, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The Oregon charity gifts. This happened around March 2003. Man, the NCAA was on one. A local charity gave the Oregon players clothes and meals, basic kindness, not a recruiting bribe. The NCAA labeled this as a charity as a booster because of their generosity apparently threatens amateurism. Sanctions dropped like the players were running a counterfeit operation. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised they didn't have a SWAT team come up on it. There was no competitive advantage. There was no shady dealing, just goodwill turned into a crime, according to the NCAA. NCAA, they flexed on these guys because they could, not because it mattered. So in 2026, that same charity could sponsor an NIL event and be applauded for it. Just foolishness. Let's go to number 29, Baylor. Small cash gifts, NCAA versus rent money. This occurred in September 2004. You remember that year. Anyway, players received small cash gifts and grocery money, gas money, survival money. The NCAA treated it like a federal investigation was needed. So this is the foolishness we were dealing with. I know some people that are under certain ages, I don't know, 30, they may have missed all this. They was too big playing with Tonka trucks or actually playing football themselves, thinking they was going to go up here and somebody could give them money and they can do what they want to do. The suspensions hit the players as they were already struggling financially. They suspended them. The system punished poverty instead of acknowledging it. The NCAA acted like $150 was going to tilt the national championship. That's how ridiculous. See, this is why we are where we are. They just want you to know. Today, them same boosters, you know, they run the NIL collectors. Thank goodness. So they can get this money in these boys' pockets. See, just like justice is on a pendulum, right? It swings this way and it swings that way. The NCAA had that thing swung all the way to the right until the Supreme Court came in and just smacked that sucker to the left. And that's why this is why we are where we are. July 1993, Florida State, the free shoe thing. Oh man, free shoes. NCAA versus footwear. Players got free shoes from a local store. So did my father in Montana State back in 1959. But we're not going to discuss that. Statute of limitations aside. Anyway, players got free shoes from a local store, the same shoes that the NCAA profited from by selling. The NCAA turned this into a national scandal, like the shoes were like dipped in diamonds or something. Suspensions were rained down over something like every other industry. They called it marketing. That's what they do now. They give you shoes and you're marketing shoes. The punishment outlived the infraction. The nickname stuck for decades. The NCAA used this moment to posture instead of protecting the players. In essence, they've never respected the players as real like human beings. And notice, I'm not even giving you the sport. This is not all football. Some of this stuff was non-generating sports. University of North Carolina jury and trips. Okay. Small perks occurred in August 2010. Players accepted jury and travel from agents. Predictable in $1 billion pipeline. So, you're making that route, trying to bridge over to the pros. Agent put a little something in your pocket. The NCAA acted like they had uncovered a global conspiracy. I'm talking these people was on one. Suspensions were dragged out for months, overshadowing the sport they were supposed to be playing. Now, the NCAA ignored the ecosystem that helped to create it. So they didn't do nothing to the agents or the outsiders. The players got punished for relationships the sport practically forces on them. If the guys were not supposed to be on campus, why don't you go ahead and get rid of them? Then just ban them from campus until they meet them off campus somewhere forever. Today, agents are a part of the whole NIL strategy meeting. Listen to Dabo Swinney when he talks about losing that player. The agent was calling him like, yeah, you're offering $1 million, but Golden, it kind of juicing it up a little bit. It's just ridiculous. Just as a reminder, USC's Darnell Bing housing help. This is the time where the NCAA stood against basic human needs. February 2006, not very long ago, but long enough. Bing received temporary housing during a rough personal stretch. The NCAA said it was a improper benefit, as if a shelter was a luxury item. I do mean a shelter. USC got hit hard for helping the kid not be homeless. This compassion became a violation. Think about that. Just think about it. The NCAA showed zero understanding of real life. Then eventually took many years later, they give the players house stipends long before the NIL came up. And sometimes I think this stuff is targeted. It's crazy. There are plenty of instances where this happened. If it's kept low enough or your school don't matter, you don't get hit with it. Now, they don't make it right. Number 25, Oklahoma, overpayment. Payroll errors. July 2006. Players were accidentally overpaid by an employer, a clerical mistake. The NCAA treated like their players were masterminding a fraud scheme. Wins were vacated. Over a time card typo. Players didn't ask for it. They didn't hide it. They didn't benefit from it meaningfully. The NCAA punished them because, there was the rules versus the reality of life. Players can be played directly now. See, y'all want everybody to say the NCAA need to do something. This is what they was doing. The NCAA need to step in. We need to put some rules in place. The NCAA couldn't handle it. I don't know if it was jealousy or envy or whatever. They could not handle this situation. This is where these are some of the reasons why we are where we are, whether you like it or not. This is why. Because they didn't put anything, they failed to put something proper in place. This is why the Supreme Court was like, unleash the hounds on everything. Kids jump in schools, everything a lot of people hate about it. These are the reasons why we are. Okay, here we go. I remember this. Maybe you remember it too. The Alabama textbook sharing scandal. Oh man, this This I think this got us the national championship 2 years 2 years later. This happened under Mike Schuler. Oh man, let's see. Players shared textbooks with other students. How dare they? NC said these textbooks had resale value, so it's a violation. So the players gave their textbooks to other students. Students probably helped with homework. Students probably shared their notes with them. Students who, I don't know, maybe they even cheated off their test. But because the book had a resale value, the students, what is this? I'm trying to say is the athletic student athlete, really athletic student, couldn't share books of his value with this other guy who's not an athlete. Just make it make sense, man. Wins were erased over this sharing of academic materials, and players were suspended from the University of Alabama. The NCAA micromanaged it down to the ISBN number. That's that little number that goes to the Library of Congress. Now, this. I just want you. I hope you're feeling how ridiculous this stuff is. Just so when you say somebody needs to do something, I want you to understand the NCAA is not the people to do it. That's why the market is the way it is right now. We going up in this, that, and the other. It's different. Oregon apparel perks. The NCAA versus Free Jackets, April 2004. Players, they got small perks tied loosely to recruiting. The NCAA acted like the Free Jacket was a nuclear weapon. Sanctions hit harder than the value of the items. The NCAA police optics and not fairness. They never did. Players were punished for wearing gear that the NCAA, again, sold openly and made money off of it. So the NCAA can sell it, but you can't get it for free, even though you're on the field making them even more money. Make it sense. Make it make sense. That don't make no sense. Number 22, Florida State minor benefits, November 2002. This players got small favors from local supporters, meals, rides, small cash. The NCAA treated every handshake like it was a crime scene. Suspensions came down like thunder over pennies. The system profited off these players while punishing them for crumbs. Made billions. Heck, over the years, over 20 years, they probably made billions off of Florida State by themselves, because Florida State and the Bobby Bowden wasn't no play with now. Anyway, made billions. The NCAA forced, they enforced poverty as a policy. Your players are supposed to be destitute because they are not working for this. They are compensated by scholarship only. As I heard people say, they're getting scholarships, yet people still trying to help them because they was up close and personal. Number 21, Baylor housing help. Now I'll let you know if some of these make sense. I'll say y'all can see that, but I ain't seen one yet. This occurred in May of 2005. Players receive help with basic housing and basic needs. You know what I'm saying? Like NCAA said it was an impermissible benefit, ignoring the reality of the situation. Sanctions hit players who needed stability, not luxury. And the NCAA acted like being housed was an unfair advantage. Because, sometimes even if a player wasn't on scholarship, but he was like a walk-on, and somebody gave him something, you're right, it's impermissible. Man could be sleeping in his car. Good. Price is at 3. They don't care. They enforced the rules that kept players, one step from a crisis. And today, housing is all over the place. Now, moving on, University of North Carolina agent perks. This is when the agents got involved. Now, see this may be a little shaky, but let's see. September 2010, players accepted meals from agents that are a natural byproduct of being elite athletes. The NCAA treated this like it was some kind of moral collapse. They suspended people. The whole thing drug on for a long period of time while the real academic scandal was simmering. The NCAA cared more about free meals than fake classes. because that happened too. Yeah, if they get you for classes, making up fake classes, I can get you on that because you're supposed to be an athlete, blah, blah, blah. You can take 9 hours, you can take 3 hours during the season, but you can't make up fake classes. That's not fair to anybody. But that's not what the NCAA jumped on. They punished the easy target and not the real issue, because there are a lot of things they overlooked. There are a lot of things the NCAA just said, I'll allow it. Maybe I'll make a list of those things if I can find them. Miami nightclub tabs. Is this Uncle Luke? It's August 2011. Players got nightclub access and entertainment from Nevin Shapiro. He's admitted to a lot of this stuff. The NCAA players punished the players harder than the quote unquote criminal booster. I don't know. I know he went to jail. I don't know what he did, so I won't call him a criminal. Suspensions hit kids who didn't create the situation. The NCAA acted like the bottle service was a competitive advantage. They punished the powerless again and again and again. That's what they always done. Today, you know, the nightclub can sponsor a player. You know what I'm saying? Come on down here to KOD, whatever, MC, you know, sponsors the Georgia Tech player, you know, do your little commercial. Your mama would not be proud. Anyway, number 18, Florida State extra benefits. I think I remember this one. I'm not sure. October 2001, players got small benefits like meals, rides, cash, small cash. NCAA treated it like a threat to the republic, like they were about to commit treason. The suspensions piled up over these trivial perks, and the NCAA they ignored the economic reality of being a broke athlete. And for people who don't think they're broke, and they were broke at this time before this NIL, there's shame on you. Yeah, I ain't talking about the bag under the table. I'm talking about just straight up looking at the fact they're in college. You can't work. Can't work. You're in college. Yes, everything's being paid for, but sometimes money runs short. It took them a long time until they started giving them a decent stipend, because you got to remember the NCAA decided there were going to be no more training tables. They didn't even want teams feeding the players. And people say, well, you got a free cafeteria. Yeah, but you got practice and classes between 12 and 6. When are you supposed to go to the cafeteria? You know you about to go ahead and get punched in the stomach several times over? You about to go ahead and run 5 miles as the track athlete, but you want me to go eat in the calf? Like 20 minutes before that practice? No, it don't work like that. Don't work like that. You know, this is the NCAA enforcing poverty like it's some type of tradition. And sometimes, like I said, we ain't just talking about football players. We're talking about non-revenue generating sports at times. Or the female athlete sports. Basketball players have been dinged. Softball players have been dinged for various stuff. It's nuts. Next up, Oklahoma State minor benefits. March 2009. Players receive small perks from boosters and locals. The NCAA turned a minor favor into a compliance crisis. The sanctions hit harder than the benefits ever did. And the NCAA acted like a free meal was a recruiting weapon. Now, I will tell you, for a long period of time, the NCAA, think about this period of time, that long-standing guy who was the head of the NCAA was the president of University of Indiana. And you know, they weren't winning nothing outside of basketball at that time. And I wonder if a lot of this stuff under him, he was trying to tighten down the people's head pop. You know what I'm saying? But they kept players under surveillance instead of supporting them or saying that, yeah, I'll allow this, that, and the other. But this is why the court just came and popped him across the head with the gavel and said, you know, we're going to head into a place we never thought we would be. Just let it all fly. So literally, we got people pulling up foreign cars on football fields and asking the players what do they want. I just want you to know why. Number 16, minor booster infraction. Again, the University of Alabama, 2008. People trying to help out Nick Saban problem. The NCAA versus humanity. Let's see what horrible thing did they do. Players had casual interactions with boosters that crossed technical lines. The NCAA treated this normal human relationship like contraband. The Investigations dragged on over nothing. Players were essentially punished for being liked. The NCAA used fear to control behavior. Now that behavior is being controlled by who? The collectives. I hope you're happy, NCAA. I'm gonna break off right here. I'm gonna come right back with part 2. I hope the young people who didn't I hope you're learning something. These are like I said, these are the major things that will pop up. There were a lot more little petty things that popped up at smaller schools and big schools. I'm just trying to give you an overview of how crazy things have been. I will hit you back with part 2, and always remember, roll, tide, roll.